Hey, party people, and welcome at last to the Christmas Party of One podcast. I am your host, Jeff Stormer is my name. Let's play a two-player role-playing game. This week, Secret Lives of Gingerbread Men, with Brandon Leon-Gambetta again. You know Brandon from Stop, Hack, and Roll, yes? And Pasión de las Pasiones. This game was so good, as you will soon see, so let's delay no more. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I am joined once again by Brandon Leon-Gambetta. Brandon, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One.
I am so excited to be back on, Jeff. This has become just a delightful part of my Christmas season.
I'm very excited because I feel exactly the same way.
Oh, it's just so wonderful. So, I guess even before we started with anything else, Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of your listeners.
Of course. And Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend.
Thank you.
So, before we dive in, why don't you take a moment to tell the lovely listeners at home all of the cool projects that you're working on, because you have some very cool projects, including some that just dropped since our last appearance, or since your last appearance on the show.
Yeah, things have been pretty wild lately. I think the thing that I am maybe getting the most notoriety for lately is that I dropped through Magpie Games an ashcan for my telenovela game, Pasión de las Pasiones. So you can go play telenovelas powered by the apocalypse.
It's a real good game. It's a very, very, very good game.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm also one of the two hosts of Stop, Hack, and Roll, which is a podcast about hacking, rewriting, and creating games, which actually led to Pasión de las Pasiones. And I am the primary plotter and kind of the default GM for Protean City Comics, which is a Masks actual play podcast looking at the messy lives of teenage superheroes and aiming to really capture that sort of Marvel Comics feel with the giant universe and tons of characters and everything like that, with an eye towards diversity and inclusion and just everything that I love. They're
both very good. Like the podcast and the game, they're all very good, Brandon. They're all very good. And
thank you, Jeff.
The listeners, you should go enjoy all of them because they are wonderful.
Well, we had an excellent guest on Stop, Hack, and Roll at one point, by the name of Jeff Stormer. And
I was gonna say Meg Dornbrock.
No, Meg Dornbrock, terrible guest, just awful, very rude.
Fair.
Yeah. And I hope to have that same guest on Protean City Comics as soon as we figure out our tech for long distance recording.
I would be 100% on board with that. But that is in the future, and right now we have a game to play.
Yes, I'm so excited.
We are playing The Secret Lives of Gingerbread Men. It is exactly what it sounds like, and I could not be more excited.
I'm especially excited about this because you gave me the task of doing some baking.
Yes.
And I love cooking. I cook all the time, every chance I can, and I will babble about cooking forever. But baking has been something that has been terrifying and mysterious to me. And so now I had a chance to actually do it with a good reason to. And absolutely loved it. Reason.
So, let me give the pitch of the game, and then I will explain the baking prompt that I gave you.
Oh yes, sorry.
Gingerbread. This is straight from the book. Gingerbread men lead secret lives. When we're not at home, when we're sleeping, when we turn our backs, they speak and move. Yes, it's magic. The magic of the holidays. These little cookies escape from their plates and jars to brave the dangers of the world. But why? Why go out into the house when every person you could find and eat you, every pet could every pet could drag you outside and chew off your leg? So why do they do it? Because gingerbread men have secrets. All of them. Every single gingerbread man is hiding something. Some of these secrets are big and scary. Some of them are small. But all gingerbread men have secrets. So, we are telling the secret story of one such gingerbread man. And, per the game book, before you begin playing, I as the cookie master am instructed to tell you to create your character sheet, or create a model miniature of your character. Something that should be roughly 1-to-1 size of your character, and edible. So, with that in mind, why don't you introduce me to the gingerbread man that you are... Why don't you introduce me to the gingerbread person that you will be playing this week?
Absolutely. I will be playing Chris Cratchit. I have a recipe that I went through that was given to me by my dear friend Jess and player on Protean City Comics. That is just this amazing chewy ginger snap cookie, which she's given me explicit permission to let you have if you would like to have it.
I would love to have it, Brandon. That would make me so happy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love these cookies so much. I'm actually not a huge gingerbread fan, but these chewy ginger snaps just have so much flavor to them. They're amazing.
I'm very excited.
So, Chris Cratchit is a gingerbread man, pronouns he, him. He is based on the father of the family that he was cooked from.
Okay.
It was created by one of the kids and kind of has a heroic go-get-them sort of style while still being in business casual clothing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because of course he's in business casual.
Exactly. So he's got his tie and his dress shirt and some rather festive pants that Dad, of course, would not normally be wearing, but they didn't have brown frosting.
Of course.
His spice, which is kind of sort of a core attribute, is body. He's a physical sort of cookie. He has the aspect of gingerbread, and he has something called and the third background is called the Zen, which is sort of a broad, fill-it-in-yourself aspect of the character. And for that, I chose Movie Watcher, which is actually where he got his name of Chris Cratchit. It is from, needless to say, Miracle on 34th Street and The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's the only one that has Bob Cratchit in it.
This is extremely good. So, Chris Cratchit, modeled after Chris Carpenter, the patriarch of the Carpenter family. You're about to go on a very big adventure. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Good.
I should also let you know, it's good that you're recording with someone who's a professional and does tons and tons of podcasts. Because I know to avoid the kinds of things that make your voice sound terrible, like spicy stuff, alcohol, dairy, hot beverages. And I'm having a spicy rum chata hot chocolate right now. Sorry, Jeff.
No, it is. Look, it is the season for all of those things. So do what fills you with the holiday spirit, or in this case, the holiday spirits.
I just have one question additionally.
Yes.
One of the things I'm supposed to fill in is secret.
Yes.
Is that something that I tell you right ahead of time, or is that something we work out together, or part of the game? Or is it kind of just frosting to the story?
I think it's just frosting to the story.
Okay, because I'm not going to lie to you, I actually had a really hard time coming up with a good secret.
Yeah, I don't think it'll super come up, but like if you come up with one during play, feel free to like dramatically reveal it.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. We open on a scene of destruction and disarray, chaos, carnage, a massacre unlike anything seen in holiday history. The victim, Barbara Lee Carpenter's famous no-flour peanut butter cookies. The culprit, the cookies were struck down in their prime by the animalistic hunger and inhuman strength of Lulabelle Carpenter. Scene of the crime, 2600 Shepherd Lane. You know, the cute little house on the corner of Shepherd and Jean Street. The time of death, 11:18 p.m. Now, Chris, you know that at 12 o'clock midnight, Santa Claus comes and delivers presents to all the good boys, girls, and NBs. And Santa Claus loves his cookies and milk. But if 12 o'clock rolls around and Santa Claus comes to discover only broken glass, soggy bits of cookie, and messy, crumb-covered paw prints, that's gonna be an unhappy magical man.
That absolutely will be. So Cratchit is currently crawling in the space. Already, my hot chocolate is getting to me. I've got some water also, so hopefully I won't sound terrible. Cratchit is crawling between the space between the oven and the cabinet. There's just like a little narrow area. He's on his stomach and he's just kind of army crawling through and just sort of saying under his breath, "Come down to the kitchen. We'll have a few laughs. It'll be great." He has attached to... He's kind of armed himself up. He's getting ready to go in there. Tucked into his dress shoes is a old stale piece of candy corn. He's grabbed a miniature candy cane and even has a just sort of strapped to his back a piece of candied ginger, which of course comes very close to home because that's part of what he was made with. And he's just he's gotten away from the tin and is trying to get a better look at what went on in the living room.
It looks like the cookies and milk were left out for Santa. Everyone has gone to bed. The cookies and milk have been left out. And with the strength of a Great Dane or some other massive dog, a strength betraying the tiny, fragile, precious little baby that Lulabelle is, she leapt onto the table, knocked down the cookies, ate her fill, and trotted off, and is now sleeping by the stairs. The happiest and most content dog that there ever has been.
Okay, so needless to say, things are looking bad.
Yes. Chris Cratchit, you've got 42 minutes to save Christmas.
That is probably enough time to make a second batch if you're a full-sized human. But there are some major problems with that plan. Chris moves to the back of the love seat and goes to climb up it because he just wants to see if there's anything salvageable, if there's a half of a cookie somewhere, if there's some sort of combination he can squeeze together.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a roll for this.
Sure.
And we will go for our first roll. The way rolls work in The Secret Lives of Gingerbread Men. Pause as I pull up the exact guidelines. This is why I put you on Adblock, Food Network.
Oh no. Yo, recipe websites are the worst websites in the world.
The pop-up comes up of like, look, we hate ads too, but don't worry, our ads aren't bad. And it's like, well, yeah, they are.
That's a dirty lie.
They very clearly are.
The only way to cook is to put everything into Evernote. Ugh.
Okay. Where am I? Okay, where were we?
Save that for the Brandon Hates Recipes cast. So, Chris, I think, always gets gingerbread.
Yes.
And his spice is body. So
absolutely applies here, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not working with, near, or for any of his baking mates. And I don't know that Movie Watcher applies.
Yeah, I don't know that it does. So you're going to be rolling 2 dice.
I don't think that there's a scene in Die Hard where John McClane climbs something. He climbs down.
Oh, no, there absolutely is. There absolutely is. He climbs he's got the fire hose and he swings.
That's true, but that's to get down, not to get up.
I think it applies,
You
though.
think that applies?
You're able to, like, tie it off, throw the thing, and, like, he's doing the hopping thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think it absolutely applies.
He takes his candy cane and wraps it with, I I'm not sure what to use for a hose.
He hangs it on his belt.
Yeah, exactly.
His belt because it's got a magical belt. Like, his pants are real pants now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's magic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will absolutely give you that third dice. I'm going to be rolling 2 dice. 1, because you're trying to climb the love seat, and it's a high height.
Yeah.
At least for a gingerbread person.
Absolutely.
And 2, because you're on a tight schedule, because again, you've only got 42 minutes to save Christmas.
Yeah, jeez.
I have rolled 0 successes. In Secret Lives of Gingerbread Man, any result that is even when you roll your dice is a success. Anything else is a failure. And you and I will compare the number of successes we got to determine who wins and, if possible, how many crumbs you get left over.
I got 2 successes, a 3 and a 5.
All right, you only needed 1 success to succeed.
Excellent.
Which means you also get to save a cookie crumb for later. A cookie crumb is an extra success. You can immediately apply that to a future roll. Or you can add a narrative detail. I believe you can also shrug off some harm with it. You can do a number of things. They're magic. Cookie crumbs are magic.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of extra spice left over.
So
you make your way up. Yeah, describe it to me.
Yeah, so he has his candy cane on some licorice rope and spins it around, hurls it up. It gets caught in between the 2 cushions so he can pull himself up, but it's all rickety and everything like that. Mm-hmm. He pulls himself up over the edge and does the exact nearly falling down from the roof from Christmas Vacation, but then doesn't. And he looks out over the living room and sees the plate, sees the spilled milk, and just looks at all of it agape. Is there anything that he can salvage?
Unfortunately, even if you could, it's all got carpet in it, and you can tell that Tyler was supposed to vacuum and didn't.
Yeah.
So it's all dusty, and there's a little bit of there's dog hair everywhere. I mean, Lulabelle got into these cookies, right? Like, she got into these cookies. So unfortunately, there is not. But there is something that catches your eye. On the dining room table, there's a sheet of paper. Not the dining room table. On the coffee table, directly in front of the love seat, a piece of notebook paper. Torn on the end, ripped out of a notebook, 3 hole punched on the side, clearly intended to be put inside a binder. It can't be. You climb down the love seat a little bit, and you get a closer look. It is.
No.
It's Brenda Lee's. Charles, it's Brenda Lee's flourless peanut butter cookie recipe. You've got it. You've got the recipe. And you see up top, it says 20-minute bake time.
They should have sent a poet.
And he, pulls the ginger from his back, it's a candied ginger, so it's really sticky. Mm-hmm. And ties it around the licorice rope, glances over to see if Lulabelle is still asleep over there. Is Lula looking down?
Out like a light.
Okay.
Big smile on her face.
I'm gonna spend a crumb right now.
Okay.
And say that Lulabelle snores very loudly.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
As someone with a puppy that snores very loudly, gonna go ahead and toss that out. It's so cute. So Chris Cratchit starts spinning the piece of sticky ginger above his head and flings it out to try to grab that piece of paper.
All right, I am going to call that a roll.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to roll... I think I'm only going to roll 1 dice on this. I don't think necessary. Yeah, I think 1 dice is fine, and I will give you an extra dice for using your candy ginger, because you sent me a photo of Charles Cratchit, and he does in fact have a piece of candied ginger on him.
Well, I had the bag of candied ginger from the recipe, so I figured that would be appropriate. I think that applies for his spice body.
Yep.
Gingerbread.
Mm-hmm.
There is a scene in The Grinch, I believe, where he uses lighted
Yes,
string.
there is. I believe there is. Yes, I will give you that. So that is going to be 4 dice total.
Excellent. This is
I rolled
really
a 6,
testing me.
so you need to get at least two even numbers. You need to get 2 successes.
Is it evens or... Oh, I have 2 evens and 2 odds.
Yes, then you exactly succeed. You grab it, you fling it back over. The back of the page is a little smudged with candied ginger, and the sheet itself is about as large as you are, so you've got to hold it with both hands.
Yeah.
But you've got the ingredients. You've got the recipe. You know what you need. And you know that for someone not made of gingerbread, this only takes about 20 minutes, and you've got about 41.
Yeah. So
it'll be tight, but you can do this.
Yeah, exactly. So Chris looks over to the kitchen to see if he can see any of his bake mates over there. Is it an open concept house? Because if it isn't, then that might be difficult.
No, yeah, there's absolutely the doorway between the living room and the kitchen is an open doorway. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And so you absolutely see. No one has noticed the scene of destruction that you are knee deep in. But there are a number of your bake mates are like hopping around. They're kind of, they're enjoying their night when Santa comes. Like they are making sure everything else is perfect. Pinning the list to the wall, like with the magnets. You see several of them standing up and like making sure that the magnets are holding the list. A few of them are rolling mints to get the mints right where they need to be. Little peppermint wheels. Making sure everything looks pitch perfect. One of them is sweeping has a little like a feather and is sweeping some dust underneath the oven. So what do you do?
Chris pauses and just goes,
If I only had reindeer, this would be so much easier.
and then takes in a very deep breath and takes the recipe, holds on to each side of it, and leaps off, trying to hang glide back to the kitchen.
All right, this is going to be a roll.
Yeah, I can't think of a single Christmas movie with hang gliding in it.
No, I cannot.
So
this is going to be I'm going to call this 3 dice. I'm going to roll 3 dice.
Yeah, that's fair.
1 for the time limit, 1 because this is an exceptionally difficult thing, and 1 because the paper is flimsy.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I got no successes, so...
Oh, and is it odds or... Oh,
Evens.
odds or failures. I did not get any successes either.
Okay, I am going to... You soar into the kitchen. But you soar a little too fast. You don't have the ability to control this.
Yeah.
Charles, I'm going to ask you to get hurt.
Okay.
Now,
To
what
do
happens
that-
in the Secret Lives of Gingerbread Men? Tell me what happens.
I believe, as I understand it, I take a piece of my gingerbread man and eat it.
Yes? Yes, that is correct.
I think needless to say, I'm going to, given that he's definitely got a John McClane kind of thing going on, I am going to take one of his feet.
That's fair.
Do I take the foot or the whole leg?
The leg.
The leg, okay.
God, that's a good noise. Some good
It's
audio.
a good noise. I don't want to chew it into the microphone, though.
So you crash into the side of the fridge. Your leg. This gets real graphic real quick, but it's funny because they're gingerbread men. So your
really
leg
does.
snaps off. You hit the ground, your leg crumbles. And your bake mates are upon you, trying to heal you as quickly, trying to get you on your feet, take care of you as best you can. You're not in pain, because I don't think the gingerbread men feel pain, but you're definitely inconvenienced.
Yeah, definitely. And And Chris Cratchit has seen enough movies to know that you're supposed to make a pain face. But he only has 2 eyes and a mouth, and so he can't do a lot of it, so it's mostly just frowning. Luckily, he's seen the Christmas Carol, so he tosses his candy cane under his arm to use as a cane and just Tiny Tim around.
Now you have an important decision.
Okay.
Do you stick to the mission, or do you go to the Cookie Smith? The Cookie Smith, separate from the rest of the cookies, is the oldest and wisest of the gingerbread men. The person responsible for replacing limbs, for repairing damages. The person that keeps the operation running smoothly. The only person that knows how to replace a gingerbread limb. It'll take time to get healed, but it'll make it faster later. Or do you stick to the mission? Do you stick to the mission and try to tough through it?
I gotta tough through it. There's no time. There's 42 minutes.
Okay.
I know that the Cookie Smith does what they can do, but frankly, I'm feeling myself to be very in charge of this cookie family.
Okay.
There's something about it.
You're surrounded by bakemates. You know, they're asking like, "Are you okay? Why would you do something like that? You know this is the night. We need you at your best."
Listen, there isn't time. You need to give me some space.
Okay, fine.
And he takes a couple of like very dramatic steps and turns to them and says,
"Don't go into the living room. It's terrible in there."
You hear from the living room, "I went in the living room.
Come back from the living room."
There are three or four of the gingerbread men have gone into the living room and are now screaming and running around. "The cookies are broken! The cookies are broken!" Now there's panic.
Okay, so you may have heard.
"The cookies are broken." Chris Cratchit looks at all of the chaos going on and turns to the fridge and picks up his candy cane and he pulls the nut from the I didn't describe the nut. I have a nut there. I don't remember why I was having it. He pulls his candy cane and his candy corn and he does his very best animal impression and goes, "Quiet!" and slams against the thing, drumming like crazy.
I'm going to ask for a roll for that.
Sounds good.
You're going to get a movie reference. That's
Thank
a
you.
primo movie reference. This is going to be 1 dice. You'll also get to use a dice from your bond to your bakemates, as these are your fellow gingerbread.
Oh, that's true. I am nearby.
So, I'm going to take 1 dice for just the scenario. 1 dice is a base. 1 dice for the clock is ticking. And 1 dice for panic and calamity.
I'm glad that you're not going easy on me just because this is a cookie-based Christmas story.
No, not at all. It's 1 success. You got to get at least 2.
I've got 1 success.
Okay, partial success. Everybody stops. But, Tall Boy is, is the senior most gingerbread man of the troupe.
Mm-hmm.
He is, and they call him Tall Boy because they didn't quite have the pattern exactly right.
Yeah.
He is, and so his torso, his arms, legs, and head are the same size as everyone else's, but his torso is like 2 torsos because they didn't quite like measure it out.
Yeah.
So he's just very tall. And he comes and he towers over you in the way, and because he's a gingerbread man, like, and his torso is so unwieldy, it starts to like bend and crack just a little bit as he towers over you. And he's like, "You let this happen. You were on lookout duty. Why should we listen to you?" But everyone else is dead silent. You have their attention, but now someone is challenging your authority. What do you do?
Oh. That can't happen. Like Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street, Chris Cratchit takes his cane and just, like, pushes Tallboy back, without the plosive, and just pushes Tallboy back with it, and raises it up like he's gonna hit him.
Okay. This is gonna be against 4 dice. One, because Tallboy's a gingerbread person.
Yeah.
1, because... Actually, 3 dice. 1, because he's a gingerbread person. 1, because you are bake mates, and so, like, he is asserting that kind of authority. And 1, because he is also special. He's also body spice.
Yeah. I think I've got body, gingerbread, movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if nearby counts, because I am acting directly against a bake mate. Does that qualify or no?
I'm gonna count against it on this, but I rolled 0 successes, so you guys got to get 1 even number.
I got 1 even number.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you push him back. And he falls backwards. And his middle is definitely soft. He falls backwards. He flops and ends up in a sitting position. And he's just like, what?
And Chris just moves forward and, like, taps him under the chin with the cane.
Mm-hmm.
And says,
"We don't have time for this. I need you on my side, Tallboy. You're the only one who can reach the top of the peanut butter jar."
He gets the gingerbread man equivalent to, like, a stoic look on his face. This is the moment I was made for.
It is.
I'm in.
And Chris holds out his blunt gingerbread hand.
And he grabs it. And we get a real good, like, handshake shot.
Yeah. And pulls him back up onto his feet. At that point, Chris tosses down the recipe and sort of hobbles over to the top of it and looks to the people and says,
"We need to work quickly. We need to get everything from this recipe together, and we need to make it in the oven as quickly as we can. Some of us might not make it, but the big man's coming, and we can't let him skip this house."
It's quiet for a moment. But then Sprinkles, called that of course because she is covered in sprinkles, stands up. "I'm in." And Tallboy has finally, like, gotten to his feet. "I'm in." One by one, they all stand up. They all thump their little gingerbread chests. And we get a chorus of, like, "I'm in, I'm in, I'm in," and we get that shot of, like, everyone cheering. So, the ingredients for Brenda Lee's famous flourless peanut butter cookies are as follows. 1 cup natural peanut butter, 1 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon pure vanilla extract, 1 large egg lightly beaten, and coarse sea salt for sprinkling.
Let me make sure I've got all of the ingredients. Peanut butter, sugar, vanilla, egg, and sea salt?
Yes.
Okay.
They turn back to you. Sprinkles comes to you. "Okay. We've got," and you see, like, several of them managing a broom, and they've got it, like, locked into the handle of the fridge. "We've got leverage on the fridge. But, and I'm sorry, I hate to ask you to do this, but you're the only one, you're better at climbing than the rest of us. You know how to hook things, and you've been watching your climbing movies. We can't get to the vanilla extract without you. I know you're hurt, but are you up to it?"
Chris unbuttons the sleeves of his shirt and, like, rolls them up above the elbow to rebutton them into, like, business mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then he nods to them and says,
"Be careful with that broom. You'll put your eye out."
And then he goes over to take a look at the cabinet situation and see about getting to that vanilla.
All right. They hand you they wheel it out. They wheel out this device that is almost as large as you. It's big, it's pink, and it's round, and they're wheeling it. And they say, Our scavenging team found this. We think that it should give you enough reach to get onto the door. You're going to have to hook the door, swing it open, and then climb quick, because that door's going to slam shut. They pop the release valve, and a thin, sticky pink length of rope wheels out.
Oh, amazing.
I don't know if they still have bubble wheel. I don't know if they still have those, but it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure they do. It's the sugar on it is definitely like real dry, but I'm sure it still exists. So Chris takes the end of it, and I guess he doesn't have spit because he's a gingerbread man.
Yeah, but you've got sugar.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So he kind of he rubs it on his frosting a little bit.
Yep. It gets nice and sticky.
Yeah. And then pauses thoughtfully and says, I have a better idea. I'm going to go with something a little crazy.
All right.
We need to get the fridge open first.
Yeah. Right.
So he goes and joins the crew that's like getting ready to use the broom on the fridge. Because he needs to access the milk that's inside.
Okay.
Or maybe the eggnog.
Yeah, there's definitely eggnog in there.
Yeah. So he's going to join in that effort, which I think is probably a role that is going to be relatively easy for me to do.
Yeah. Because you've got a bond. I'm going to give you an extra dice because you've got the broom leverage.
Well, with the baking bond, if you're near them, acting with them or acting for them, each of those is worth 1 die.
Oh, okay. Then that's 3 dice. That's 3 extra dice.
That's 3 dice, then body, then gingerbread.
And I'm actually going to call this 4 dice because you are gingerbread men trying to open a refrigerator door.
Well, I got 5 successes.
Okay, I got 3, so you got a success and a crumb for later.
Excellent.
The door swings open with a
and
that billowy mist kind of pours out.
And Chris says at that point, keep it open. We need to get up to the vanilla, but I need something else first. And he looks at the bottom shelf to see if there's any like liquids down there, maybe any salad dressings or something like that.
There is in fact on the bottom shelf there is a gyoza sauce.
Okay, perfect. So he climbs into the refrigerator and climbs up the bottle of the sauce and tries to like pop it open.
Okay, I'm gonna call that a roll. It's against 2 dice.
Okay.
I'll give you one of your Bakemate rolls because you're near them, but you're not acting with them or for them per se.
Yeah, I'm on my own now, I think.
I got no successes.
I got at least 1. I got 1 and lost my other die.
All right.
I got 1.
Okay. So yeah, you succeed. The cap pops off. The smell is spicy and sweet and savory.
So Chris hops down from the bottle and knocks it over to get a little bit of it into the, like just kind of dripping out into the fridge.
Yeah, and it's mostly empty, so it's just a tiny little, like, drip comes out.
And then he calls down to his bake mates, throw me the gum.
And they throw you the bubble tape.
And
several of them have to, like, heave it.
Yeah. And so he kind of makes a pile of it in the gyoza sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And starts stomping on it and, like, squishing it up.
Mm-hmm.
To try to chew with the gum.
Genius. Absolutely genius. Take a crumble for that.
Don't say this until you hear where I'm going next.
Nope, it's too good.
So from there, he has kind of like the chewed gum at this point, and starts blowing it up to make a hot air balloon.
I'm gonna need a roll.
I don't understand why that would be. Okay.
One for base difficulty, one because the clock is ticking, and one because one because this gum is resistant to being blown into a bubble because it's very old.
So I think I'm rolling with
0 successes.
What?
I got 0 successes.
Okay, that's good, because I think I'm just rolling with gingerbread and nearby baking bond.
I would call this your body. You're trying to inflate something. You're trying to use your breath.
That's really charitable of you.
It's the holiday season.
And that is 2 successes.
Great. You get a crumble. You get 1 crumble.
Excellent.
For later. You get a balloon. You are able to soar. You soar, like, where are you flying to?
I'm headed right for that vanilla.
Okay. You soar right up to the cupboard. You know, you hop on it. You are soaring through the kitchen. Unlike the first time you flew, which was a very chaotic, like, unsteady, like, handy-cam shot, this is a sweeping steady-cam shot of the entire kitchen. And you see Tall Boy pop the lid of the peanut butter, right? Mm-hmm. You see several others, you see about, like, 4 of them, 2 on each corner of the tiny, they have one of those portable shelving units that has the silverware in it, and they start, like, having to rock it back and forth until it slides open so they're able to get the teaspoon.
Perfect.
And we see this whole display, like, unfolding. And then, like, the camera pans, and you're at the cupboard.
And, is there a place to kind of stand near the cupboard, or am I going to have to get this open while floating?
You are going to have to get this open while floating.
Okay,
because you've got the momentum while you're floating to, like, hook it with your candy cane.
Yeah.
And, like, it'll pull open. And then the challenge is going to be swinging on the candy cane to, like, get to the inside.
Absolutely. So, I think that is more or less what he's trying to do. Like, he gets this great view over everything, and then just turns his attention, and the frosting for his eyes narrows a little bit as he brings himself in. And he's just kind of, like, muttering under his breath, "On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer and Vixen." I don't think that gets me any movie thing. That just felt appropriate.
I don't think it does, but it's pretty good. It was the right move.
Thank you.
So this is a difficult stunt, so I'm going to take an extra dice.
Okay.
And of course the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And, well, actually, not so much the clock is ticking, but that door is going to swing shut when you swing on it. So that is going to be my 3rd dice.
Okay. And I can use crumbs for instant successes, right?
Free successes.
Okay, do I do that?
Because I also got 3 successes.
Oh, jeez. Do I spend it before or after I roll?
Either one.
Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and roll and then maybe spend some afterwards. Great. I rolled 3 failures.
Okay.
I have 3 crumbs.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend all 3 crumbs so that this entire thing doesn't end right now.
All right, yeah. What happens is it almost catches you, right? Like, when you see the swing, you see the door, you see the edge, like, you see it and you're like, I'm not inside! Your candy cane smashes.
Oh, no.
The door closes shut. Everything is pitch black. And then your candy corn starts glowing.
And
Chris,
he looks
do you know what happens when your candy corn glows?
I do. It means there's giant spiders nearby.
Really, I feel like giant is a relative term here.
Giant spiders, Jeff. There's giant spiders nearby. Recently, Chris Carpenter watched Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there is some familiarity with what's going on here.
Yeah.
That this is a... Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't have glowed. It wouldn't have glowed for Shelob. It glows for orcs. Cut
It's
that,
the same
because
basic
otherwise people... Yeah, just...
Same basic premise. Yeah, okay.
But I will never be able to show my face in geek communities ever again if I get that
fair.
one wrong.
That's fair.
So Chris pulls out the candy cane and holds it up in front of his face. Crap. Chris pulls out the candy corn and holds it up in front of his face and just shakes his head and goes, "Never can be easy, can it?" And he readies his ginger shield as he starts to kind of move in using the light from the candy corn to try to see.
You approach you don't see it. You see the webs along the ceiling of the cupboard, but you don't see the spider. You see the vanilla though. There with the other spices, the other extracts, the peppermint, the spearmint, the orange zest.
Tyler was supposed to clean these cupboards out this week.
He really didn't do his chores.
Really didn't. Yeah.
He's gonna be lucky that Santa still loves him.
Well, we'll see if he's on the nice list.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough year for Tyler.
We do like to give them some wiggle room. They are children.
They are
Santa
children.
Claus too.
So you approach the vanilla, and then you grab it, and you're almost out when you hear, and you feel the crumbs on the back of your neck start to stand up, and you feel a cold, eerie breath.
And sorry, go ahead.
There's a spider behind you.
Chris is going to turn and basically Captain America swing his candied ginger to try to just catch the fangs of the spider.
Okay. This is going to be 1 dice because it's a spider, and they are nasty creatures. 1 dice because of its size. You turn around and you see that this spider is very large.
It's gigantic.
Gigantic. Massive. Legendary. 1 dice because it was behind you and it's got the jump on you. So that is 4 dice.
Oh, man. I think I
that
have...
is 3 successes.
I think I've got body, gingerbread, and my shield.
Yep, that's 3 dice.
Oh my god. I rolled 3 4s.
Yep, you got it. You catch partial success.
That's a partial success, yeah.
You don't catch the fangs. I was hoping that this is exactly what you would do. You don't catch the fangs. But you do, you know what you do catch? The thread of webbing.
What? Oh.
It falls down directly. It falls down in a heap. And it stands up. It rears back. Its 2 gigantic front arms come forward. And then... Good show, old chap. Good show indeed.
Cratchit turns quickly, and he's holding up his, he's got, just the shield held up still to try to just have something between him and the spider. Mm-hmm. But he's holding up the candy corn as a lantern to try to see who's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it?
The spider, you see the spider is clapping and has sort of leaned back and is very pleased with your heroic exploits.
Cratchit's eyes go wide-ish. The frosting spreads on his face. And he says, "Listen, Christmas is a time for telling the truth. So I'm going to tell you right now, I am terrified. But we don't need to have any problem here, okay? This vanilla extract doesn't belong to you. And it's important."
Let's make a roll for this.
Okay.
1 base difficulty, 1 because it is a spider and they are devious, nasty creatures. But I'm going to give you 1 dice because you just impressed it.
Great.
And I'm only going to roll 2 dice.
Okay, I think I probably only have 2 dice too.
Okay.
Christmas being a time of truth-telling was me referencing a movie, but I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that adds anything.
Oh, if you reference the movie, it absolutely counts.
That's Love Actually?
Yep.
Yeah. Had you ever heard outside of movies the Christmas is a time for telling the truth?
No.
Me neither, but it's in so many movies. It drives me crazy every single time they say it.
Yeah, that's a weird phrase.
It's bizarre, but I love it. Okay, so I got to tell you the truth because it's Christmas time. I got 2 successes.
Perfect. Yeah. It's the spider leans back and says, "Oh, no, there's no need for bloodshed. I was merely investigating. You are, after all, an invader in my home. This is my domain. So, but, of course, the vanilla is no more mine than it is anyone's. It was merely placed here. I oversee it, and it is taken by the outsiders when they need it. I assume they sent you. Take it. But, of course, I must ask. You seem ill-equipped to make it from here to..." And its spidery arms push out the door a little bit, and it looks down. "Down there? What is your plan, Gingerbread Man?"
And he hesitates. He didn't really have a plan. He more or less was going to get up here and then see what happens.
There's a moment. It sees it in your eyes, and it kind of like its spidery face smiles. And we cut to a shot of you with the vanilla extract, swinging on a spider web with this spider, and it just screams, "What ho! What ho! The cavalry has arrived!" The gingerbread people are freaking out.
And as he swings down, Cratchit shouts out, "Welcome to the party, pal!" Oh, that's amazing.
Very good. So you've got the vanilla.
Yeah.
All of the ingredients have been assembled.
Excellent.
The cup of peanut butter, the cup of sugar, the teaspoon. You've got the teaspoon of vanilla extract poured. The large egg. Tall Boy is currently lightly beating the egg with a spoon that has been stolen from the silverware drawer.
I'm very impressed.
It is currently 11:48. No, it's 11. Yeah, it's 11:48. But there's a problem.
How long do they have to bake for?
They have to bake for 10 minutes. But you look up and you realize no one has preheated that oven. It needs to be preheated for 350.
Oh. We're doing this the old-fashioned way, I guess. Open flame.
You're going to have to climb into that oven and start an open flame.
Oh, right, because we can't do the chimney. I was thinking make a fire in the chimney, but that's no good. Big man's got to come down.
Big man's got to come down. It's got to be a clean chimney.
All right.
Plus, a fire in the chimney would tip off, the whole family because the smell of open fire.
That's probably true.
That's bad news. That's bad news. There's a lot of candy out here for eating.
Yeah. Have they opened the oven, or is that still a question?
They've got it open. They've got the broom handle, which they use to open the fridge. They've got it set up so they can just pull it. They can just push it and pull it open. So that's not... Sprinkles, who has a sheet of... What's a paper like? She's got a sheet of fondant.
Okay.
That she has written tiny notes in frosting on. And she's looking at it. We can get it open. But you're going to have to start that fire from the inside.
He takes a deep breath and says, "All right. Well, Mr. Carpenter still hasn't quit his smoking habit, so we'll go ahead." Oh, I don't have any chips. Can I declare that?
Yeah. Well, you can make a roll for it.
Oh, that's true.
See if you can get somebody to bring you his lighter.
Yeah, let me reword that so that there is some more question to it. And he turns and he says, "Has Mr. Carpenter picked up the cigars for New Year's Eve yet?"
Make me a roll. I'm going to call this 2 dice. The clock is ticking, and base difficulty.
Okay.
That is 1 success. You want to get at least 2 successes.
I'm near my allies, and I am Gingerbread.
And you are working with them.
Oh, I'm working with them. That's true. 1.
Okay. Partial success. They bring it to you. Actually, what they've got is a single match.
Oh, good.
So you only get 1 shot.
All right.
You climb
sorry, go
in.
ahead.
You climb in. Sprinkles gives you a salute. We gotta close the door, Chief. You need a closed space if you're gonna light that flame. We'll see you on the other side. She gives you the salute. They close the door. You've got the match. And then in the dark, the strangest thing happens. You hear movement. You see shapes. 2 of them. Spirits. The spirits of the oven. One of them crawling, not unlike your spider friend, along the roof. Stops. Humanoid shaped. But his head cocks backward like in The Exorcist. Which is a reference that you, Charles Cratchit, get.
Immediately.
And he stops. "What's this, Bake?" And then suddenly you feel a wind as something almost in the air envelops you. And you see a face and almost like a ghost. You see almost like a ghost swirling, dancing around. "It appears we have a guest, Royal. It appears we have a guest."
And Cratchit just is like turning to try to keep them in eye. And if this was a movie, we'd be getting one of those rotating camera shots all around him. And he's trying to just look as intimidating as possible and saying, like, "Listen, let me make a deal with you. I can get out of your hair."
We enjoy deals. Oh, yes, we quite enjoy a deal.
Here's how it's gonna go down. I'm gonna bake some cookies. You're gonna stay out of my way. And if you agree to do that, you don't touch our business, you don't touch me. I don't think the big man's got to get every single one of these cookies. Could leave 1 or 2 for you.
A cookie? A cookie? A cookie at the base of the oven. Oh, it would get quite crispy down there. Quite burnt indeed. Burnt cookies. Make me a roll. I'm going to make this 2 because there's 2 of them. 3 for a base difficulty. 4 because the clock is ticking. And 5 because this is magic. And magic is real weird.
I think I have literally 1 die that I'm rolling right now.
Yeah. Well, you only need 1 success.
Okay.
And I believe you have a crumble?
I don't have any crumbles. I've spent them all. And I did not succeed.
Okay. what happens is they start swirling around you and they say, "Yes, a burnt cookie sounds delicious right about now, but I am quite impatient. Why? I am quite impatient, Broil." "Yes, why should we wait for these cookies to be cooked when we could cook a cookie right now?" And it starts to feel real. You start to get the scent of, like, gasoline and kerosene, almost like if you were to light a match right now.
Oh, perfect.
But also, if you were to light a match right now, this oven would preheat to 350.
Yeah. So Chris can already feel that the heat is going to start to burn him. Like, he can feel his edges getting just a little bit crisper. The ginger is melting down his back. He loosens his tie and kind of gives a couple of coughs. And he points to one of them and he says, "You're a crooked, dirty jockey and you drive a crooked hoss. But guess what, Jackweed? I get more action in a week than you've had in your entire life. I've got houses in LA, Paris, and Vail, and each one a 70-inch plasma screen, so I suggest you wipe that stupid smile off your face before I come over there and smack it off. You feeling strong, my friend? Call me Burned Cookie one more time."
I don't fully... I'm not 100% sure. Make me another roll.
Well, as he's doing this, he's trying to move to get his back to the door of the fridge.
Okay.
Because his intention is to blow himself out of the fridge. He's trying to line himself up so his back is to the door of the oven.
Yep.
So that when he preheats the oven, he can try to, like, blast himself out the door.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to give you an extra dice, both because that's one extra dice for you get your movie referencer.
Nice.
Or your movie watcher. You get your movie watcher, and I'm going to give you an extra dice because this is a very clever plan. And this is going to be against, and also an extra dice because you've confused them.
Excellent.
I'm still going to roll 5 dice, but I'm giving you 3 extra dice on this one. And I rolled
Both of those
success.
were Christmas movies.
And I rolled 1 success.
Oh, and it is freaking on. I got 3 out of 4.
Yeah, you, appropriately enough, what happened, like, the visual that we see is the two of them are, like, swirling. I mean, like, what is he talking about? What, we should just get him!
And, at that point, Chris starts laughing and reaches up behind his back and pulls out the match and strikes it against the side of the oven.
And so we get the Die Hard shot of you grabbing the match. You light it, and then holding on to a string of semi-solid candied ginger,
Perfect.
as it is, like, in the process of melting, we get the Die Hard explosion shot as, like, a burst of heat throws the door of the oven open, throws you out of it, and we see the swinging, like, yeah!
And he just, like, there's fire coming up from him, and, like, he's just, like, flailing, and I'm gonna spend one of my crumbs I just got to land in the dog's water bowl.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
and,
you land in the water bowl, you're cooled off.
It feels soggy, it feels terrible. Mm-hmm. He gets out and, like, takes off his shoes and stretches his candy cane toes and, like, takes off his dress shirt and tie, so he's just in an undershirt. Mm-hmm. Soaking wet and burned all over with, like, smoke coming up from him. And he looks to the other cookies and goes, "Stick him in the oven."
They slide him in the oven. We see the door close. We see the clock. We see Tall Boy carrying a glass of milk, and he sets it on the table, and he looks over to you by the water bowl. And he kind of, like, looks away for a second, real, like, just angry and seething and a little... And then he brings up the two-fingered salute, like, we're gonna do it. And he walks back off, and they carry over the plate. They put it on the table, just as you hear the bells all through the city. Christmas Day, midnight. You don't even really see what happens next. There's a flash of red, the jingling of bells. You hear clippity-cloppity on the rooftop. But it's mostly just a blur and a brush of wind. Lulabelle wakes up and is very confused and just starts lapping up the crumbs and milk that is still on the carpet. But you look up, mushy, missing a leg, holding on to, leaning on the edge of the coffee table. You look up. There's a plate of eaten cookies and a half-empty glass of milk and a whole lot of presents under a tree. He made it. The big guy made it. And you made it. Just in time.
Amazing.
You're standing there for a moment. And that's game.
Oh my gosh, Jeff. Thank you so much.
This was lovely.
It was so good. It was so much fun. And I felt super tense, like, multiple times about a gingerbread cookie story.
I felt pretty good about this gingerbread. Like, that was a real ass gingerbread story.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
That was so much fun.
Now, of course, I do, in the interest of full disclosure, we brushed over some of it.
Yeah.
But I would like to share the rest of Brenda Lee's flourless peanut butter cookies, which is actually Claire Robinson's peanut butter cookie recipe from the Food Network. I'll link this in the show notes. But you will preheat the oven to 350. You'll, in a medium bowl, mix together all the ingredients until well combined. Spoon them into one tablespoon, about 1 inch apart, onto ungreased baking sheets. Put them in the oven, sprinkle a little coarse salt on the top. Bake them until golden brown around the edges, about 10 minutes. Repeat with the remaining dough. Transfer them onto a cooling rack. And you've got some delicious holiday cookies.
That
a classic
delicious.
year-round staple. It does sound really good.
Oh my god.
I asked the Party of One research department, producer of the show, Jen Frank, to give me a holiday cookie to build this around. And with, like, literally in a minute, she was like, here you go. It's
That's
perfect.
incredible.
It's everything you want. Brandon, thank you so much for coming and spending this wonderful holiday evening with me.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It's always such a pleasure.
Always such a pleasure. So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find your work online?
They can find me at... Let me pull up the... I want to get the address right for Passion. You know what? Actually, I'm not gonna use that. You can find my telenovela game, Pasión de las Pasiones, on DriveThruRPG or through the Magpie Games website. Currently, it's available in PDF for the Ashcan, which is like a demo version of the game. And it's also going to be available to buy the demo version of the game, but we ran out of the copies that we had, which is a wonderful, wonderful experience to have had. You can
a lot of us bum rushed those copies when they came out.
I really didn't think I was going to get a copy. The only reason that I managed to get it is because my dear friend Kevin Petker, author of The Ward, grabbed one for me to make sure that I had
I'm glad that you got one. That means I'm happy about that.
It's filling my light with lights and wonderful stuff. So that's available there. You can also find me wherever you find your podcasts for Stop Hack and Roll or Protean City Comics. Both of those also have a website, stophackandroll.com and proteancity.com, I think. Let me check that to be sure. Yes, proteancity.com.
Did I lose you?
I'm also on Twitter at Dr. Captain Kobold.
I'm going to give it...
Wow, I'm in a lot of places. And on G+ and stuff like that as well.
Okay, you're back. Okay,
if you want to see sort of some of my longer form game chatter, although I'm much more responsive on Twitter.
Okay, sorry, you cut out there, but I wasn't sure if you were still plugging things, so...
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I will just edit this part of the... Future me, edit this part of the conversation until whenever Brandon is done plugging things.
So many plugs. It's terrible. It's gotten totally out of control.
Brandon, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. Happy holidays to you and yours. This was a lovely... this is lovely. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, my good friend.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and yours, too. Can I catch you again this same kind of year next year?
I think so. I look forward to it.
Fantastic. I'm excited.
And on that note, I'm going to throw it over to me and the... And on that note, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show with a holiday greeting of his own. Take it, future me.
Tell him Merry Christmas for me.
I will. Future me, Brandon says Merry Christmas. Take it away, my friend. Thank you, past me. And thanks to Brandon, too. I always adore playing games with you. Check out the show notes for Brandon's cool stuff. I really can't recommend them enough. Normally, this is where my plugs would go for Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, you know. But this is a different kind of pod, and plugging my shit felt a little odd. Instead, let me take a moment to say I wish you warmth and joy and love today. May the season fill your spirit with glee, and if you need some more, please, DM me. In closing on Christmas Day and beyond, from me to you, as always, party on.